to understand if you slowed it down just a little bit. Because you had a lot of really good points.
Do you know how many words you have?
Around 600.
600?
Yeah.
600 is not right. So, but you got another 30 seconds, right?
Yeah.
So you could slow down. Or even not necessarily slow down the overall pace, but punctuate between sentences. So we can just sentence pause a little bit, just a little bit, and then move on. Or even between sections.
I know that from the last senior day we had, you've come a long way, and you have like a clear argument using the communitarian framework, which is what I'm also using. So I understand what you're saying. Yeah. So I can tell that you're like more confident with the material. You know your stuff. So you'll be good.
Yeah, I would say the same. The communitarian piece was fantastic. It was very, very clear.
Yeah,
I was quite pleased.
Yeah, before I have the European perspective, so I just cut that.
Yeah. And you were able to put in the Christian perspective again too.
Yeah, I think I need some suggestions about the Christianity because I don't know that much about.
Sure.
I have just a question. A question that they may ask, I don't know. You said at one point about people needing to realize that their identities are not different from each other, but then you also mentioned they need to realize the differences in their cultures and kind of reconcile that. So people might ask about, well, are you asking for them to all be the same identity, the same culture, or have their own culture and take pride in it but cooperate with each other? I was just a little confused as to whether you wanted people to all kind of
because they have
same.
because they have different races, and I want them to cooperate and share because they are now only in Malaysia. They have kind of same culture now, so they can cooperate and share the culture.
I think the idea is that if you're using the communitarian idea, that a sense of community is developed by a same way of interpreting the circumstance based on common narrative, right? And right now you have a society that is fragmented between the native Malaysians and Chinese Malaysians, right? And so the question, I think that your solution, as far as I'm hearing, maybe you have to say more forcefully to questions like what Emily just raised, is to say that you want them to be able to find practical ways to develop a common sort of core narrative, right? That could be through developing common activities together, because you talk about that, right? Common activities or sort of education and aspect of it, and having festival together, so on and so forth. Those are the things that creates a common story, so that they can feel like they're part of the same community. Right? That seems to be what I get out of your paper.
Yeah.
So you had to practice that. You were kind of communicate that to questions, like what Emily just raised. Okay. Other comments? Anyone? Yeah.
Just real quick, you had a couple extra seconds to work with. You might benefit just from adding in a short one-sentence explanation of why the Chinese are in Malaysia, just for people who aren't familiar with the topic. I mean, they'll have your abstract and stuff like that, but you might just say there are this Chinese people in Malaysia, or just a sentence or two of background, just because I think I'm not so familiar with the issue. I understand that they are there, but people might not know why are they there, or just one or two sentences
like the different examples of how the Chinese Malaysians can work with the Chinese, and like ways that they can kind of benefit each other. And you talked about like the economy, how they can kind of like collaborate and better the economy. And you talked about it from like a financial standpoint. So you may get a few questions on like specifics, like how or why is it important to integrate the two groups. So just you should keep that point. I'll look for the Q&A, but.